You know, Bloodhunt low key might be that vampire battle royale that you didn't know you needed until you play it. I'll take. I know. I already know. I know what you're thinking, okay? I know. There's a bunch of battle royales that exist in this gaming space. It's pretty much probably oversaturated because those are the main games that people are playing, right? We obviously got Warzone, we got Apex, we got Fortnite, we had Hyperscape, RIP, may you rest easy. And now we got a new one. We got Bloodhunt. And honestly, I think that this is one of those games that it's very easy to overlook. It doesn't have pretty much a lot of hype to the game whatsoever. But there's some unique things about this game that I actually think are really kind of dope. Both from mechanics of the game to the gameplay and to the lore that surrounds it, to be honest. I know I'm doing a lot of talking and I'm probably overhyping this because I feel like it's very unique and special in a certain type of way, but let's get into it and you kind of be the judge. But I think you should give it a try. But first, make sure you smash that like button though. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100 followers so that way I can at least change my name on here. But it's a growing process, man, so any little thing helps. So even if you hear, please like the video, man. Just hit that button, man. Just hit that button, hit the notifications, hit that bell, subscribe. Trust me, there's more content like this on the way. But let's get to it. So if we go in here, right, this is the Elysium. This is pretty much your main lobby, your central hub, if you will. And it actually spawns you in with a bunch of like random other players, so you can actually kind of see them in here and you can squad up if you wanted to, which I think is a really nice way of kind of being able to kind of create a little community for yourselves in a way, especially if you're one of those people that doesn't always like to play games by themselves, or you don't necessarily have a group of friends that are willing to try. I think that kind of creates a nice inviting atmosphere, if you will. But one of the coolest things about this game is that you have your 3 different archetypes, right? You have your Nosferatu clan, you have your Bruja clan, and then you also have your Toreador clan. And the cool thing about this is that they all have different abilities, but within each clan there's one unique ability that pretty much all of them have. So for somebody like the Toreadors, they have the projection dash, which allows you to cast out a completely different like ghost image of yourself, right, that you can kind of stay there, pop off your shots. When you want to pop your Q, it'll automatically warp you to that projection, right? I think that's a pretty cool nifty ability. If you're looking at the Nosferatu, they have the vanish dash, which allows you to basically become invisible and have like a super speed. So for all of my Apex players or something like that, very similar to a Wraith Q, if you will. It's very similar to that. And then on your Brujas, they all have this soaring leap, which allows them to basically have this either second jump ability or other ability that allows them to leap higher distances. That'll come in handy because there's a lot of kind of I guess crawling up the buildings and stuff like that. And it comes in handy if you need to make a quick escape or something like that. But again, each one of them has a secondary ability that's unique, as well as a passive ability that's unique for them. They have what's called the True Grit, and this replenishes up to half of their health while not taking any damage. That is extremely valuable. The other ability that they have is the Shockwave Punch, and this is kind of something that's really cool, I think, in my opinion. And it's very similar to, say, for all of my Overwatch players, kind of like a shield that basically blocks everything, but it also deflects bullets, right? So it allows them to push this out and allows your team to kind of advance as well as yourself. And it starts out slow and then speeds itself up. It can also push players away as well as deflect their bullets. So it could be a nice little defensive tool in that sense. When you look at the Vandal, their passive is called the Adrenaline Rush, and they gain moderate damage resistance when in close vicinity to an enemy. So if they're close by or something like that, they're gonna take a little bit less damage, and allows them to kind of go in, especially for those players that love to use kind of like melee weapons and stuff like that. Yeah, this is the one for you. The other ability that's on here that's really dope is called the Earth Shock, and this is basically kind of like your Doom Fist from Overwatch, where he basically like jumps really fast and then kind of crashes down on the ground. Now the cool thing is that it lifts up the enemy and it gives you a little bit of time to kind of like spray and pray, especially when somebody's ADSing, because there's kind of like this gradual slowdown effect, if you will. Very Matrixy, very Max Payne-ish, if you will, of like slow down while you're in the air. When you look at the Saboteurs, right, we already talked about that vanish ability, but the passive for Saboteur is Unseen Passage. So they turn semi-invisible when they're just crouching, right? So as long as they're crouching, they're almost basically invisible to the eye. Trust me, it's hard to see because it rains in the game. So it's a very nice ability if you need to kind of get away, kind of be a little stealthy for a second. Either get the upper hand, try to get a heal off, or evade a situation, which I think is pretty cool. The other one is your Sewer Bomb. So it throws like this kind of explosive, and when enemies are nearby, it releases a toxin gas that does damage over time. So if you're a little bit more strategic with your team, it can be very, very useful to kind of slow down your enemy as well as kind of cause a little havoc. Now for my favorite, we have the Prowler, right? And the Prowler has a passive which is Sense the Beast. Severely wounded enemies leave a trail that reveals their recent movements. So it allows you to track them because their blood trail basically keeps going. So if somebody's trying to run away from you and vanish, it allows for you to smell them out in a sense, which is really, really useful in a fight. The other one is the Scouting Famulus. I don't know. You can roast me in the comments. But it basically is like a beacon. So it sends out bats and it allows you to see who's in the vicinity. So if somebody walks in, they'll be revealed for a certain period of time, and it allows you to get the upper hand on your shots. And then we go to the Sirens, which are the Toreadors, and their passive is Kindred Charm. So nearby civilians are charmed, temporarily making them act friendly towards you and your team. This is really useful because if you guys need to feed, whether you're hurt, which I'll explain in a second, or if you need something where you want your teams to kind of get some of these passive abilities so that you have cooldowns for your abilities, cooldowns on your heals, things of that nature to kind of really buff up your character during the match. This can be really helpful because everyone is not realizing that you guys are zombies. If they do realize you're zombies and you feed on somebody and a civilian sees you, you're revealed to the entire map. The other thing is the Blinding Beauty, which basically acts as like a flash grenade, if you will, and allows you to temporarily blind your enemy. It kind of cracks their screen a little bit and allows for you to maybe reposition, get the upper hand, and get back into the fight. Now, the last one, and probably most important one, is the Muse. The Muse, they have what's called Final Act, so it instantly refreshes your cooldown and enables the use of powers when you're down. So when you're down, normally you can't use any abilities, but for this, it allows you to use it and maybe get away from a scenario so that you can get back to your team, maybe get into a better position and actually heal yourself so that you can regenerate faster. When you're down, you're never really out in this game as long as you have players that are alive or as long as you're alive. If you look at stuff like Apex, if you're down and you're the last person on your team, it's just done, it's finito. But in this, you're not, because you're a vampire. You can kind of regenerate yourself a little bit, and it gives you some time to do that. So if there's a very, very wild fight and you have the chance to maybe get away, creep off to the side, you actually can get back into the fight, find a place to respawn your team, and next thing you know, you're back in. You're never really out. It's very much like Hyperscape in that ability, where if somebody's still around, you have the capability of continuing play. It allows people to not really just kind of like force quit all the time, because you almost feel like you're always in, right? So that's a really nice ability. And the last thing is the Rejuvenating Voice, and this basically creates like a beacon for everybody to heal themselves. You can cast your projection and still heal them. But if they're in your vicinity, essentially, whether it's with your caster or anything else, it allows for you to heal your teammates and get yourself back into the fight. Now, one of the most interesting things that I've seen about this game is the level of customization that you have for your characters. It's not a whole lot, but it's enough to make you feel unique. Okay, so if you go in, you have all of these different outfits that you can put on and stuff like that. I'm gonna go back to my archetype because I have the crazy looking one, right? I play the Prowler, so he looks a little bit funny, but I think that it's cool and it shows a little bit of the flexibility that you have within the game. So you can change your different outfits and things of that nature, you know, and as you start to either have the battle pass or purchase cosmetics in the store, you have more things that you can do or unlock. Same thing with accessories. It allows you to have a wide range of freedom, if you will, to really kind of make the character feel your own. You can put glasses on them, keep them honest. Like I said, it all depends. There's all these different type of emotes that you can put on there. So all the Fortnite lovers, there's definitely going to be a wide range, probably most likely by the time they finish everything out. So they have the nice little get 'em. I didn't have that before, so I'll put that on the celebrate as to get them, and then to make waves. I think that this is dope. We're gonna change that from this dance to that. So they have some really like interesting animations, which I think are gonna kind of liven up the game a little bit, so to speak, seeing how we're playing undead people. And then obviously you can change your banners and stuff like that, very much in your Call of Duty wave and stuff like that. For all those players that love to, you know, unlock banners, I think that that can have a nice level of kind of like competition and keep people playing. Going back into the store, like I said, they have some really dope cosmetics, if you will. So if you did want to kind of purchase and get some, you know, fresher gear, you have all the options in the world. Same thing for all of your facial hair options and things like that. They really do a really good job of kind of creating unique styles for you to kind of really customize to your liking. Diving back into this customization for a second too. Again, with your character, you can obviously choose between male or female. You can change the head types of what they're gonna look like. I'm assuming that you're gonna have probably more options. You can change the skin tone, change your hairstyle, change the color of your eyes, put makeup on them, give them tattoos, change your facial hair. Like I said, there's a lot here that can really kind of personalize the characters for you in a little bit, and like I said, kind of make them your own and make sure that they don't all feel the same. And because of that, I think it kind of creates a really unique feel that's a lot different from a lot of these other games where you have basically your very, you know, traditional skins, and it is what it is. That's it. There's no real feel for like owning your character, and I think that this gives you that. The battle pass is pretty standard for the most part, right? You get, you know, a list of cosmetics, you get your banners, you get your icons and stuff like that, player cards, XP boost. You know, it comes with a bunch of free stuff as well as paid. You get your emotes in there and things of that nature. I haven't seen anything for weapons yet. I'm not sure if that's in here or if that's something that you have to upgrade through quest, which I think is also a unique take for you to kind of challenge yourself and get bonus points and XP by kind of completing these challenges by going into the battle royale and finding some of these things for some of the keepers of the Elysium. Now, if I go into my challenges, you have your daily challenges, right? Like any typical battle royale, you have your seasonal challenges, which take place every week. And then you also have your quest. So for my quest right now, I have to collect a statue. So I have to find and retrieve a statue for Kustos as a gift for Kira. So let's go ahead and ready up really quickly and let's kind of jump into a match, and I can kind of show you some of the mechanics in the game that I think really solidify it from being something completely different than anything else you've probably really played. So it looks like we're about to load in, and I'm gonna show you guys a few things. So obviously it allows you to pick any point on this map. I'm gonna go by the shopping arcade for two reasons. One, you have the pharmacy and the tailor store right there, as well as an antique store. Those stores actually have loot in them that you could just go and kind of grab. It does set off an alarm, but it allows you to get a couple of high tier loot items right off the rip. It looks like there's a lot of people in my vicinity. We've got 4 players already that are in this area, and that beacon kind of lets you know, like, are you sure you want to go over here, because it's going to be a little bit more chaotic than the norm. But I think that it's really cool because it sets a precedent of how you want to strategically go into a map. Do you want to avoid players in the beginning? Do you want to stay in? We're a Prowler, so this probably isn't going to go well. Maybe if I was a Brute, but I think it's cool to kind of have those objective points that are on the map that allow players to kind of go in and test their abilities, if you will. Now, I use the little scan right there that just allows me to say, hey, there's somebody by me. Got that down. And that's kind of, like I said, the beauty of kind of just knowing, like, hey, there's a couple of people around you. I should probably be aware right off the rip. All right, so let's see. Let's try to pick a different location. I think I'm gonna go by here by demolition. Might be a little less hot, if you will. We got 2 people, 3 people. All right, it's not too bad. We got 2 people in the vicinity. Yeah, well, there's a lot of people at the lower side. Nobody went to Rudolph and them. I'm gonna play a little bit slow just so that I can kind of get some of this content out, because me being a little bit aggressive right now and trying to just get better at the game, probably not the best, because I'm not the best, but that's okay. You, on the other hand, maybe a little bit different. There we go. All right, so we're in here. I'm gonna probably, ooh, we got a nice little gun truck right here, which is always nice. Got two submachine guns. One of the things I did wish is that this was a little bit better on kind of like where certain things are. Oh, there's a dude right here. I'm not sure where that guy went. Oh shit. You beat up? So I don't want to step on any of the cars, all right? They'll set off alarms and stuff like that. Now the cool thing is I can kind of hear where certain stuff is taking place. Now, if I do that scan again, right, you kind of see how some of these people So some of these people are kind of highlighted in certain colors, and the reason why they're highlighted is because they actually give you certain type of abilities and cooldowns, right? So this person that's over here, that's in this like kind of like pinkish hue or something like that, they give me blood resonance, right? So it allows my heals to kind of come back a little bit faster. Now, one of the things that you'll see is that when I kill an enemy, right, it allows me to actually enhance myself more when I feed on these people. If I didn't kill anybody or suck on their blood or anything like that, it only gives me but so much that I can do. I believe it's 3 slots if I'm not mistaken, but if I kill someone and I suck on their blood, it allows me to fill up my bars even further, right? So right now I already have 3, and if I'm not mistaken, I should be able to get more. I should be able to get up to 6. Now this guy just saw me feed on somebody, which revealed me to the enemies. So I'm gonna play this a little bit safe, I should say. And I'm not gonna push anybody or anything like that. But right now I'm revealed on the map, so people can see my location. It'll let them know, like, hey, somebody's in the vicinity. There's a vampire here. He's doing some weird stuff, some criminal activity. So there's kind of a unique element to the game that allows you to kind of have different type of mechanics to have you play in a specific type of way. You got to be a little bit more cautious when you do certain types of things, because you don't necessarily want to be like me and get revealed to anyone, because it just causes other people to kind of come and find you. See, this person knows. I'm gonna feed on them again. So again, because I've killed 2 people and drank their blood, I should be able to fill my gauges up even further. So right now I've already got 5 on my abilities. So if you look at those abilities that are on that bottom left hand side, they allow for me to have a little bit more of an advantage against my opponents, right? So you see how it says missing resonance slot, drink enemy blood to increase capacity. So I have to go try to find somebody, kill them, in order for me to be able to upgrade myself even further off of NPC's blood. Now I think this is a really interesting mechanic because it promotes you to be more active. It promotes you to engage in the fights, to find enemies, and not just kind of sit back, because you want to be able to put yourself in a better advantage opposed to some of these other players, right? Now there at the bottom, you see that we have some of the NPCs, and they have high tier loot. Now I can go in there and I can go fight. Well, it sounds like they're shooting at somebody right now. Now again, remember I said they kind of have like that Max Payne floaty type vibe, where I can kind of aim in the air and kind of spray and pray a little bit. So we got this guy right here. That was a terrible reveal on my part. I'm gonna climb up. There's somebody else up here too, which is not good for me, but that's okay. No. And he's gonna drink my blood. I don't know how he beat me out, but hey, that's the way the game goes. But yeah, that's how kind of the game is, right? In an interesting way. I think that it has like these really cool mechanics that differentiate it from your typical game. And if you have a team, right, when you're playing in squads, you know, you might have people from different factions and stuff like that that allow you to kind of switch up the mechanics, have different type of play styles. Maybe you guys want to play more aggressive, maybe you guys want to be more on the defensive. And I think that there's some really interesting tools that are in here, right? All right, let's see where are we gonna go. I'm gonna go back by shopping arcade. This is probably not gonna go well, but that's okay. We're gonna go right at the edge so that we can get to the store as fast as possible. I think I've already beat this guy out. We've got at least 2 in our vicinity, so we're gonna have some early fights. I'm probably gonna take that guy out on the left first. I'm pretty positive. It is pretty fast paced though. If I was to compare this game somehow, if you took Rogue Company and you took Hyperscape, blended those two together as a baby, I think you have a pretty good sense of play style and mechanics and how movement works and things of that nature in a very weird way. Shooting wise, you get that from Rogue Company. Movement wise, Hyperscape, Apex-y type vibes mushed together. Bloodhunt. Alright, so first things first, let's get some guns. Got the double revolvers. One thing I do wish is that they changed the way that you can kind of see your guns or your abilities. It's not my favorite per se. I have a very hard time figuring out which gun I have in my inventory, which one I'm not. So I wish that they had a different mechanic maybe in the UI of what it's supposed to look like, you know, just so that it's a little bit more clear of which one's highlighted and which one isn't, right? The fact that it switches out the gun in the main versus kind of just switching between 1 and 2, it's not my favorite, and that's just from a UI choice perspective. But you know, who knows? See some armor as well. And this is what I'm talking about movement wise, right? When you look at the movement of the game, it's very much, like I said, kind of like Apex-y, kind of I know I heard someone, right? Get out of here. Alright, I heard that, dude. Let me suck out your blood. Now, this gun is very interesting, right? This LMG, it actually becomes more accurate the more you shoot. Now, I hear someone. Come here. You got the police cars. So all of these police cars in normal cases, right, they have, you know, armor, they have ammo and stuff like that. So it's a good way to kind of replenish some of your stuff if you're out. This guy's on purple, so I think I'm gonna probably feed on him a little bit, get a lower cooldown on my vanish. I'm gonna feed on this person right here because my blood resonance is not that great. So I'm gonna be looking for some pinks. Now you see, if you look at the bottom left, right? If you look at that that HUD, it lets you know, hey, I've got one more slot I can fill. So I can be a little bit more strategic with what I want to do. I'm not a certain type of player where I go in and I'm a hand-to-hand combatant. That's not my play style. So for me personally, I want to try to find somebody that's in like that blue, because that gives me a different type of cooldown on my abilities. I'm gonna go ahead and armor up really quickly first before I get into this fight. I'm gonna play it a little bit safe. And as you can see, ooh, now I can kind of like do nice little movement like that, right? Where I can kind of run on the wall a little bit, bounce off, all different types of stuff, right? Really, really cool movement in there. I'm gonna also go ahead and do a little slow heal. Some height. Remember, I said this gun gets more accurate the more I shoot, right? So that's one of the things about the LMG. It's really, really hard to shoot from wide, but once you get up close, it's really, really nice. Get him out of here. I don't think anyone went to this pharmacy yet, so I'm gonna rack up on whatever we need. So again, you can see how the risk to reward of like kind of getting into fights a little bit and not necessarily playing too far back has its benefits, right? It's not crazy, but it's enough to where you have enough of a reward, because now you're able to feed off of players or off of these human NPCs, right? Now granted, you still got to go and you still got to fight and all that type of stuff, right? That stuff's not going to change, but it does provide a very, very nice advantage. Now I'm going to be able to regain my health a little bit faster, which is always going to be a plus. We're really, really getting to the end zone now. Now, as you can see on this map too, it's not a traditional zone, right? Where it's like a circle and it is what it is. This allows for it to kind of be precise a little bit more of where exactly the zone is going to be, in regards of what sections and factions you're still able to play in, stuff like that. Ooh, there's fights over here. Heal off. Get him out of here. No, I wasn't sure where he was. I could have stayed there and stayed alive, but that wasn't a bad fight. That wasn't a bad fight. At the end of the day, we did pretty decent. No, I wasn't sure where he was. I could have stayed there and stayed alive, but that wasn't a bad fight. That wasn't a bad fight. At the end of the day, we did pretty decent. dude was focusing me. That guy's got no kills. Oh, that's unfortunate. Just going for the dub, which I'm not mad at. But all in all, it wasn't a bad game. Wasn't a bad game. Damn. That wasn't bad at all. Yeah. So yeah, man. I mean, that's the game. I think it's super, super interesting. I think it's really fun. There's so many different like moving parts to it that allow for it to kind of separate itself from traditional battle royales. And in my honest opinion, man, it gets a must try, especially if you're a battle royale fan. It gets a must try. I mean, it's free. It's in early access, you know, just like a bunch of other games that keep saying that they're in early access, but they're released. So you should download it, man. Play it. Let me know what you think. There's definitely some things that I want to say for the devs, so I'll point that out now just in case you're watching. I definitely think you need to change the UI for your gun to let you know whether or not you're on 1 or 2. It makes it a lot simpler to figure out what gun they're on. I can't tell you the amount of times I think I'm switching to 1 or switching to 2 and I have the same gun in my hand. It's so frustrating, and it definitely makes me die sometimes. In regards of everything else in the game, I think it's pretty good. You know, I think some of the sniper rifles, they definitely need some adjustments on like that dragon off, on the fact of how it zooms in. I feel like it doesn't zoom like the other sniper, so it doesn't give you the same type of flexibility or mobility. Maybe it just doesn't zoom as much. I'm not sure, but that's just my personal opinion on that one. But in regards to the UI, I think that there definitely should be a change for at least the gun management to let you know whether or not you're on 1 or 2, just a little bit simpler. But other than that, man, I'm really enjoying the game. Really enjoying the game. I think it's super fun. And I think you should definitely give it a try if you can. Other than that, though, let me know what you think. If you guys are playing it, are you guys rocking it? You guys not feeling it? What do you guys think? I think it's a fresh take. But other than that, I'm Carter. And now you see me.